Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Johanna Basford, and we made a start in a rather long video yesterday with this crown and the gemstones. Now, having stepped away and thought about it, I would rather like to try putting white pen on the crown and see how it looks. So I'm going to have a go, and I might completely ruin it or it might just work. So I'm going to do it first, and if it doesn't work then don't copy me. I've got my Jelly Roll 8 because I think the 10 might be a little bit too thick for it, and I'm just going to have a little go at going over the lines. This one is really tricky because we've got that white pen mark on it anyway. There, we'll leave it like that, I think. I was actually going to get my 0.5 Sakura pen, but I completely forgot when I went off to get a cup of coffee. Forgot to get the pen, but never mind. I think this one is thin enough, really. It's just around those gemstones it's a little bit tricky. Maybe that bit's going to be hard. It sort of softens it all a little bit, which I think is nice. It also, taking away your black lines also gives everything a bit of realism. You know, things don't have black lines around them. Taking that away a little bit. But it can be rather time consuming. But we'll have a look and think about, I think it does look better. Now, some people will take away all the lines, and they might even do it at the beginning by, I've seen people paint white paint on their page over the top of the black lines so that they're very much fainter, and then they colour it after. I've tried doing that and it was a complete disaster. I did it on a download page, which is what I would advise you to do if you're trying it for yourself, and I sort of painted it with white, I don't know what it was, I can't even remember, paint anyway, and I just couldn't see any of the print underneath. Now, some people, when they sell downloads, I'm not going to do underneath because I want it to look like a shadow. I think that's okay. I need to do a bit more here. Some people who sell downloads sell them in a slightly less dark, like a grey rather than the black. So you can do that, and then I think that looks better. I haven't come in very close, have I? Let me come in a bit closer, sorry, so you can see. Form an opinion. Don't know, it's up to you. I've got this crown to do now though, so we'll have a go at this. So yeah, some people, so yeah, or if you buy, as I say, if you buy a download, sometimes the print isn't as dark. You can buy it as sort of grey rather than black, and that can make a difference. What I'm going to do is do this crown here, but I'm actually going to do it in silver rather than gold. We've got a gold crown here, this one's going to be silver. I think I might be doing this bit in silver, probably. So I thought I would do the, this bit in gold. So I thought I'd do the crown in silver, and hopefully that's dry. So I've got the Cold Grey 6, which is the darkest of our cold greys. And I'm going to start off with the bits that I want to be really dark here, and sort of start to fade it a bit. That bit there is part of the cloth behind. Now here, look, we can see the bits behind, so I feel like we need this bit to be a bit darker because there'll be some shadow. So I see it anyway, like that. And do the same with this bit here. start with. There we go. And then the edge, just like we did on the other side, just sort of fade it off a bit. And here we've got a sort of rim, so I'm thinking again, dark shadow under there, and a bit of dark coming across here. We won't need to black that line out because we've got a shadow there. Now, I also feel like I want to put a little bit of shadow underneath these gemstones, because I feel they wouldn't be flat. This would be creating a bit of a shadow. There we go. I'm going to leave it there for now. We might now that was the cold grey 6. I'm going to jump to the cold grey 4. I think going down a few might just work. Oh, nice and sharp. Now on this bit I want to try and just get a little bit of shadow here. So here's the cold grey 4, and I'm going to just take this colour just up a bit and fade towards the top. It's actually doing the same as we did with the gemstones really, but just using this silver, which grey, which I feel can look a bit like a silver. I find warm greys don't, cold greys do, in my opinion. But, you may disagree, but I feel like a warm grey is more like smoke rather than metallic. There we go, and then just fill in that bit like that, and then I want one more. We'll go down again a couple of colours. This is our cold grey 2, and just blend off this bit, just go over it a little bit and take it up to about there. We want to leave a white bit, we'll get there in a minute. So sort of leave a white bit in the middle there. Not sure how silver that actually looks really, but we'll get our gemstones on there. So we've got these round circles on the top of each point, and then these ones. Oh, I haven't done that. I'm going to just use the cold grey 2 and try and just fade it along a bit like that. Okay, gemstones at the top, maybe. I'm just sort of, I don't want like orange or pink or blue or, you know, maybe a green then. Let's go for a different green. Let's go for the emerald green. It's always a nice gemstone-y type colour. So all the way around. Oops. Try to leave it a little bit lighter in the middle. Across like that, and then these gemstones we could do the same, we could do them differently. I think I'm going to just do them the same. Now we're not going to do them like these because they're so small. What I'm actually going to do is just block them in hard because I want them to stand out, and then I'm going to put a little white bit on them to just make them look shiny. It's a little bit of a cheat, but I think it would work. So I'm going to grab my white pen now, and I'm going to white around our crown, and I think this very end might not be necessary because I'm just going to do the top of that there because it's in shadow, but I think we can put a bit just on the top there. Do you want to go around these? Quite tricky, so little. You might be better at this than me. Probably will be, couldn't be much worse. I'm going to go over that sort of cross that's on those gemstones too. Just work work my way across slowly. Don't rush, I'm going quite fast. Just pause and keep up bit by bit. There we go. So there's a silver crown. I think that will stand out better once we've done this. I hope so anyway. But we're going to not do that now. We're going to move on and do the goblet, I think. Now, I was going to do the beads first, but I think I'm going to do this first, then decide on the beads. I'm going to do this in gold. Might do slightly different colours to the crown, but, you know, I don't know. I don't always do my golds the same way. We'll start with an umber. We didn't use that last time, so here's the burnt umber. Now we need to think about what we're doing with this. Well, what I think it's easier sort of have a shine going down the centre of our goblet, and also think about what patterning's going on here. So let's start with here. Look, this brim here, I feel that would be standing out slightly, so I'm going to put a shadow underneath it here. That's going to be my first bit, and then yeah, all the way along, sort of fade it a bit towards the middle. So our centre is, she's our centre there, yeah, that's our centre, so that's where our lightest bit needs to be, and this bit will be darker here, like that. So that's our first bit. Now this brim, I'm only going to put a little bit of light dark brown. Now I'm not making any sense. A little bit of brown on there because I want it to be darker here. So once I start this edge, look, I'm going to go in dark like that, and I'm going to do the same. Now this is an interesting pattern. We've got that and that. Having a think about that for a minute. So I'll just sort of fade this into here. This is a gemstone, so I'm not going to do that, as are these. But this, I feel, is maybe just a little bit of gold that's standing out a bit. So just shadow under it, like that. Now here, I'm a bit confused. Is this bit standing out as well as this? You know, not really very sure. I think I might just ignore that bit. If in doubt, just ignore it. Is that a good attitude? Probably not. So this one again, I'm thinking maybe it's just a bit of gold that's standing out. So I'm going to make this bit quite dark down here, not quite as dark as up here. And then I want to go under here. So I've got a bit of shadow. Might need to go over that again at the end. But it's just helping me to start thinking about what's going to work where. So I'm not actually going to use any dark brown on there. Here we'll start. Let's just hold the page down. Just trying to make it symmetrical. So now I've done that side, I can just sort of copy what I've done. Now with these circles here, they're very difficult to colour around. And so I'm thinking if I colour them now, then I can almost perhaps colour over the top of them and then just put some white pen dots on them to make them look shiny after. So I'm thinking a sort of dark red might work well, and then if I go over it with browns or yellows or whatever, it probably will hold its own. So we have, oh, I can't get hold of it, here we go, the middle cadmium red. I'm going to do all those little dots in this to sharpen it up. What I'm going to try and do is colour over the black, because I don't want to have to outline all these in white pen, but that black is showing up. I can't cover it with red. Some pencil brands would do that, but no. So I'm blocking this in. I'm not, oops, going out of the lines. I'm not trying to do any sort of anything fancy. They're too small. So just blocking it in all the way around, across, I mean. Just checked I was recording then. Imagine if I wasn't, what would I do? Just to buy another book and start again. It's a scary thought, isn't it? Anyway, fortunately I was recording, so it's fine. I am actually having to think about what colour to do the other gems stones on this goblet as I'm colouring these, and I'm wondering whether it might look better if they were all the same. Would they all be the same? I feel like I want to do these other, there's some little circles just below here that I feel like I want to do in this red regardless. These. Now let's have a think about what else we've got here before I get back to my gold. So we've got these at the top. We can see from the fact that this one is coming out of here that they're three-dimensional. The same with these teardrop shapes, although this one is missing. Although this bead doesn't completely cover it, but yeah. So we've got the teardrop shape here. Yeah, these are missing here, like that one's missing. But anyway, I'm thinking it might be easy to colour these in. I'm going to do these ones in the red and just block them in. Yeah, and then with these, what I want to do is to make them sort of match. So I'm going to do this. I've decided they are all going to be red, and this. So we get a sort of white flash across them, shine. It looks shiny. I can do that for all of them. It really is a fairly simple way to get quite an effective effect, I think, anyway. You do have to perfect your fade. There we go. I'm going to do these. I'm going to do it a bit like I did these, so a bit random. So this one's dark to light there. This one might be dark here to light there. That one to there, that sort of thing. So they're all a little bit different. I think it worked. I'm hoping it'll work for these. It's just going to be completely random. You can copy my order if you want, or just go with your own thing. It doesn't matter really how you do it, I don't think. Washing's finished. Husband's been dealing with it though, which has been rather good. Rather nice of him. He said his muscles were aching today. He was shifting some roof tiles the other day. Made him quite tired. I think the problem is that when you're unfit, like we are, not used to doing things, then when you do something, you get achy. If you do something you're not used to, even if you are fit, and say you've got really strong arms, and then you do something with your legs, they're going to hurt, aren't they? Just because you're not used to it. Right. Go around this one. I want the centre to be a little bit lighter. If you don't want them all red, you can change your colour. If you don't like red, use purple, green, whatever, or mix it up a bit. I think red and green goes quite well for jewels, or purple and green goes well too. I think they're sort of very regal, but you can use any colour if you want to use pink or orange or whatever. Yellow's quite tricky, but I just always find yellow's tricky. Right, now I've done the, see, are those stones, shine lines, marks on the, I've got no idea, but I'm not going to worry about it. So now I've done, oh, missed that one, didn't I? You should have told me. I'll go back to doing the gold, and then we'll do some white pen and stuff at the end. I don't know why you're not in the middle. Get in the middle. There you go. So I've sort of done this side. We're working on this side a little bit. Working on some shadows, aren't we? I think all the gemstones are going to have shadow. Actually, I think what I'll do the basic gold, do the shadows after. I think that'll be easier for me. So down here we've got a little line. Here we've got a line. I've just put a tiny tad on each end of there. And the same here, just the tiniest tad. And then this, I'm going to sort of ignore that patterny. Just go like that. Same with this one. It's a very loud motorbike going by. Like that. Okay. I'm just checking to make sure, see if I faded it well enough. I think it's going to be okay. I think we'll go for a less, a sort of, I'm going to go for the nougat, which is a little bit more of a grey brown, be a bit different, a bit less warm. So the top of our bit here, keep it light, because we want the bit underneath, this bit down here, to be the darker bit, but we can always add darker pencil to this after. I think I'm going to do that. And then expand that with my next colour, whatever that might be. I think it'll probably be green gold. Now when I did my other crown, green gold was the final colour I used, but here I shall probably use a yellow of some description as well. We'll see. Now I'm a little bit colouring over the gemstones. I want to try not to colour over the white bits, but sometimes it's just too tricky like these. It's better to sort of go cover them over a little bit and get right up to them, rather than miss some of them off and then it looks a little bit weird. A little bit in there, this bit. There we go. I'm getting hot again. I should bring a fan in, I really should. My little handheld fans, I like them so much. A lot of people said, oh, buy an electric fan, but I just cannot be doing with them. This is green gold. I do not doubt that they work. I'm sure they're amazing. But the noise drives me absolutely batty. Some people really like it. They find it calming, relaxing. White noise can be, you just sleep. Just trying to work out where the centre is there. Okay. Things like that. But for me, even in the day, it's just like I can't, it gets on my wick. So, gets on my wick. So no, I can't be doing with a fan. But a handheld fan, easy peasy. But it does mean I have to stop to use it. You know, you just can't be doing stuff and fanning yourself. But, it is useful. Just going to flat my top a bit while I colour. So hence I'll go out the lines and be all wibbly because I'm flapping with my other hand. I'm not very good at being ambidextrous. I'm just going to stop and flap. There we go. It's supposed to be getting up to like 30 degrees today, so it wasn't too bad when I went out first thing, but and I think I thought it was going to only be a day, but I made the mistake of looking at the weather. It's supposed to be the same tomorrow. Anyway, I shall have to just distract myself with making new videos instead, which will be nice. Husband says we need to go shopping. I've got a plumber coming, It's all exciting stuff. I need to talk to him about when we're going to paint the bathroom. Right, got a bit more colour on there. Oh, we need to do down here a little bit. You do need to think about where that centre goes through to there. We even-ish. Yeah, we're okay. Now I'm going to go for this yellow. Now this dark Naples ochre. Now I feel like there's a lot I haven't done, so I might have to come back in with some dark because it might not look quite right, but we'll get there. Let's start at the bottom. I find this a bit easier. Now with the yellow, it's good to go over all of it because it adds a sort of warmth, makes it look more shiny somehow. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I find it just works quite nicely. And I'm quite happy with the colour of that, and I'll probably come in with some darker colours to do a little bit of shadowing here and there in a bit, but we'll work our way up through these first, see how it looks on this bit, whether I need something else, darker colour. I think I'll do it all and then I'll decide, because it's quite difficult to decide when you've only done a little bit. The Olympic closing ceremony this evening. I always find them really odd. They seem to want to make them really surreal. So, but I do like watching it to look out for, see who's carrying the flags and watch out for our team and any other sort of famousy competitors. Where's the centre? It's there. That sort of thing. I found out who was carrying our flag, so that was good. Bryony Page, who won the gold for trampolining. She won our first ever medal for trampolining in the last Olympics, and then this time won us a gold, which is pretty amazing. And sometimes when it comes to gymnastic type events, you have to sort of rely on someone else not doing so well to win, but I felt she just held her own and she did really well. She didn't need to wait for anyone else to sort of stumble. She just put out a really good routine and just put the pressure on, really. So that was good. And the other flag carrier is Alex Yee. He does triathlon, and he actually won 2 medals because he did the mixed relay triathlon as well and won one in that, so that was good. But I think the athletes vote for who they want to do it. Of course, some of them would have gone home already. The ones that competed really early on, they don't always hang around, got things to do, want to go on holiday or see their family or whatever it might be, and some of them just hang around for the whole time. I thought they might have chosen Andy Murray, although he didn't win anything because it was his last games, but of course he didn't win anything, and they always traditionally choose people who won, and he's done it before several times because he's won gold at London. I think he might have done it. I'm going to come in with my burnt umber and do a bit of fiddle faddling. Here we are. So I wanted to put some shadow under here, and I didn't. I only started on this one. Also, actually, I start right at the top. I'm going to put a bit more defined shadow under that lip, and then under here. Yeah. So I don't think it's always about people. I mean, Bryony Page might be retiring because I think she's 33, which for my brain isn't that old, but for a gymnast, it's quite old really for a gymnast. So I'm not sure. I don't know about Alex Yee. Don't know how old he is. I reckon he's got a few more in him. He looks really young. But we did wonder whether the climber would do it because he was our first ever climbing medal, but of course, because climbing is such a new, this is only the second year in the Olympics, and I think it was a demonstration sport last time. Am I right? Oh, no, they did it slightly differently last time. You know, being the first winner is, being the first GB medal is not hard to achieve, as there haven't been any more. So, anyway, we did rather well. We got about 6 medals yesterday. Got 1 today, which is the last day. We haven't done the very best that we've done, but we're pretty close. We've had quite a few 4th places as well, which I think must be the most gutting thing. I don't know about you, but I would find that the worst place to come. I have filled this in already, I can see, but it's a little bit faint. I'm going to do a bit more on the edge too. I feel like I need a little bit darker here, just to emphasize the sort of shape of our goblet a bit more, to make it look like those shady corners, shady edges are sort of turned in a little bit. And down here, thinking maybe under here, maybe that bit is standing out a bit. Like that. Around there. Make it look like it's standing out a bit. Might be some shadow under here and under here. There we go. I'm going to grab the green gold. Just take the colour a little bit more. I feel like we're a bit light in this area compared to here. So I'm just going to hold the book still. Take the green gold across just a bit more. Try not to colour on the beads, but you know. There we go. Across we go. A little bit darker, I think that's better. I might just grab the yellow and close that up a bit. It's really quite a lot of white paper down here. That's better. Now we'll get our pen. Or should we do the beads first? Ready for time. I think we'll do the beads first and then we'll use our pen to cover. Ooh, there's a red bit there that I haven't done. This is the middle cadmium red. And that side. I'm just trying to work out. That is the gold, and then there's cable. Not cable, a string. Now I'm going to do the bead string in black, just because it'll be much easier to see. There we go. And then I'm going to use a bit of this black on a few of these gemstones. I feel like I suppose it could be a chain, but it really just looks like a cord, and they're usually, I think, black leather. That might be wrong. Now, each of these got a little pattern on, and I'm trying to decide whether I just ignore the pattern and just do them in the colour and do it that way, or whether I actually take notice of that intricate pattern. I think that's going to be quite tricky to try and do that pattern. It's small, isn't it? So I thought I could use 2 different colours on each bead and sort of go across the pattern, which I think would work if I was yeah, if I wasn't gonna, because I've been blanking out the colour, these stripes. I think if I try and do separate colours and have to try and white that, it's be really hard. I think it might be better if I just fill them in. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to think of a colour. We've got 2 pinks and 2 blues up here. We've got green on one crown, red on the other, or pink on another. So you just look those colours the same. I don't really want to use an orange though, because it's quite similar to the red. So maybe I use, it's right next to purple. I know. I think I might use the Delft blue. It is a slightly purpley blue, very elegant, I think. Helps if you sharpen it in the right hole of the sharpener. One of my sharpener holes has not got a blade in. So for these, I think I'm going to go around the edge in the dark blue, really dark, and then just gently bring it in, less layers as I go, so that I've got a lighter bit in the centre. I'm just going to layer up in a few places to get that working. Now the pattern that's on there is almost vanished under the Delft blue, which is good, and I'm not going to outline it in white because it's such a dark colour on the edge. I don't need to. That black line is sort of vanished anyway, but we'll put a little line of white on there to make it look shiny on the edge once we've got our pen out in a minute. Now I'm sort of having a think about that curtain that's to the side of this goblet. This looks like some sort of banner that's been hanging off the wall, but it's either got burnt by the dragons, because I don't know if you've read the story from the book, but this is the dragon treasure. So either the curtains got burnt by the dragon's fire, or it's just old and ragged. I think it's a little bit easier to just do it old and ragged, because then you don't need to think about scorch marks. But if it's old and ragged, would it be faded? It's quite hard to do. So I think I'm just going to do it in whatever colour I think will work, and not worry about what's caused it to look like that, you know. I mean, I'm sort of assuming this is stolen treasure, and maybe there was a fight to get it and the dragons won, but the cloth got ripped, you know, that sort of thing. Something exciting. I can't imagine anyone fighting a dragon. Well, St. George, obviously, he fought the dragon, didn't he? I always find it's going back to the Olympics, interesting flags, because you see the parade of athletes, and Georgia has St. George's Cross on their flag, and so do we. It's our patron saint is St. George. What's so interesting is that we're not the only country. Georgia's patron saint is also St. George, but there are other countries that have St. George as well. So I find that quite interesting. I think I'm trying to remember who Ireland. I'm sure I knew who Ireland's was. Someone who ridded Ireland of all the snakes, I think. Is that right? It must be St. Patrick, of course. St. Patrick's Day. And Scotland, St. Andrew, but I don't know, I think. Maybe I'm being a bit quick. Is that Wales must be St. David? I was taught this at primary school. It's not something we tend to study very much. Okay, time for white pen. I'm using my 8. I'm going to start at the top of my goblet and work on, I hope my eyes are not focusing, there we go. Work on the top here. So for the beads, I'm just going to put a bit of shine like that on the side. So I'll come back and do the others later. I'm just working from top to bottom so I don't smudge what I'm doing, what I've done. Now I don't know if I need to do this line because it's a shadow. I don't think I need to do it here, but as we come along to here, as the shadow fades, I think we need to put a bit on there because it's a bit too dark. But we don't need to do a second layer, just need to fade it a bit, I think. Now this, with these loops, I think this top one needs to be white. Shine in there. I think the bottom one probably can be left. Like that. Just work my way along. It's quite a mammoth challenge, this page, isn't it? It's no wonder I was asked to do it. I think it's probably a lot of you who wouldn't attempt it on your own, and I can understand why. I'm whited out a lot of my shadow there. It is definitely, with all the metallics and gold and silver, there are other daunting pages in this book too, actually. Page that's got all the spoons on, that's quite a challenging one, I have to say. But I think I've done some of those items it was a planner, and I've done some of those items in a video. So I thought it would be a bit samey to do it again. But I've still got to do that page in this book. So we'll see. I'm trying to get it finished, the book, but I don't want to rush it. And I've suddenly got into Hannah Carlson all of a sudden, doing pictures from her book, so but I'm enjoying this one. It's quite nice having a challenge sometimes, if you're in the mood for it. I have to say, sometimes I'm just not in the mood for colouring a particular type of thing. You know, I might think, well, actually I don't feel like colouring metallics today, for example. I can do these little ones, dot in each, I think just a dot. I don't think I can be any more accurate than just popping one in each circle. You might be able to be more accurate if you can put them in the same sort of position. Choose whether you want to be left or right, top or bottom. You know, would left, middle, or very central might be good, but I'm just trying to get it in. So my eyes are going a bit funny. I did put them in night on because it's so dark, but now these I'm going to go around the edge, then put a bit of white on. I should do the edge of the goblet. This one did go around these. Now some people like to whiten it and then go over it with the coloured pencil after. I've never managed to do that very successfully. I find that I end up just scratching off the white paint with my pencil, and then, but not always all of it, so it just then ends up looking quite messy. So personally, I would rather just do it afterwards and not try and pencil on top of it. But you might prefer to have a go, it's up to you. Let's do the edge of this a little bit. Now I want to do the, yeah, do the top edge, look shiny, hopefully. Sometimes a white pen just doesn't seem to show up, and that can often be if you're using it on a colour that isn't very intense or just a light shade, and then it just looks like you've just erased a bit rather than actually making it look like there's some shine. So it takes a bit of experimentation sometimes to get it quite right. You know, sometimes I can look at a page and I know if I try and put white on, it's just not going to work. Also, some pencils bleed into white anyway, but luckily most sets it wouldn't be the whole set, it would just be certain colours. There seems to be certain pigments of pinky red that I observed tend to bleed into white pen, so those are worth being careful with, and you can experiment. I always note it on my swatch chart. I'm going to go across those. I just want to white them down a bit, not massively, but they just seem a bit dark. I'm wondering whether to do the same with these. They just look a bit dark and bold. Hopefully we'll still be able to see the effect a little bit. I'm not going to sort of go over them a few times, it's just to knock them back a bit really. So I'm almost just using it like an eraser. But I think it looks a bit better. I can't quite work out what's going on there with all those lines together. See, this one looks too bold to me. Although we've drawn the shadow underneath, the shadow isn't dark enough for it to cancel out that line or make it look like there isn't a line there. Like those, you can't see the black line because the mauve is so dark. I think that's better. Let's just sit back and have a look. Yeah, I think that's okay. Now, let's come out and show you the page. I think I am done for today. We didn't seem to cover as many items as yesterday's video, but we've still made progress, which is good. So there's our next bit. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that was okay. We'll probably have a go at this curtain, maybe this. Please do something a little bit different to diamonds and metallics tomorrow. So yeah, I've got some idea for this. A little idea. We'll see what happens. But thank you for watching. Have a super day and happy colouring.